Banderacon, Captain's Log, Close to the Ledge. This is going to be about the game This Is the Police number 2. Now, before I get an almighty drubbing, I didn't play the first game. I might own it, I might have it somewhere, and I may well give it a going through at some point. But I heard that the second one was kind of where it was at, and I started playing it a while back. Now, This Is the Police is already hit the ground running for me. I love me some Law and Order type stuff. I love me some XCOM. I love me some difficult, polarizing decisions. And This Is the Police 2 promised to have that. And if it had, this wouldn't be a Close to the Ledge episode, sadly enough. So I'm going to absolutely spoil as much of this game as I played, because I didn't finish it. And I'll explain that. So, spoilers, I don't care. Go play it. It's been out for years now. So you start off as, I believe, one of the protagonists from the previous game. You're on the run from law enforcement due to some corrupty, heinous mob type shit that I believe happens at the end of the first game. You run to some little police county in what I'm assuming is meant to be Alaska or some kind of other cold American-ish area. I don't know America very well. Give me a fucking break. Anyway. You end up begging your way into the force through the red-headed character, who's literally the character... Oh, fuck me. Hang on. It's like the character on the front of the box. Anyway, you do that, and you start running the police for the day. And so far, so good. It's fun. You get a kind of overview map of the town. You send officers to various incidents. You have a persistent mechanic. Oh, that was another thing I do love. I love me some persistent XCOM type squad mechanics where you upgrade your people over time. They gain new skills and abilities. Love me some of that. Anyway. So you act as a dispatch effectively. You send people to stuff. And on, I don't remember if it was per events or just certain encounters you'd have, you control them directly while they go through certain situations on a turn-by-turn kind of XCOM basis. Again, really fun. Your characters have their own skills and abilities. You are encouraged to try and bring in the suspects alive, or at least you have the option to do so. Gunplay in this game, but according to me, is handled, I think, exceedingly maturely in that I believe being shot will kill you, more or less, just how fast it will do so. I think even getting winged in like the arm or the leg, you're done in a couple turns if you can't patch it up and get yourself the fuck up out of there, and then you are bedbound for quite some time. So the stakes are real. Gunplay has real weight to it. And obviously if you get shot in the head, you're done. No vest as far as I'm aware, no serious kind of armor mechanic. Your officers, again, as well as gaining and losing skills, they have a loyalty rating. If you have their loyalty, they will do exactly as you tell them all the time. They will go to missions, they won't complain. I believe there's a tiredness meter as well. So you have to marshal your resources. You might have, and I think, again, it might be deemed sort of artificial difficulty, but I enjoy the moments where I've got a couple of loose cannon cops. I've got a call outstanding. I send one, and he's like, nah, can't do it. My band's playing this week. You then have to make a decision where you're going to try and send somebody who maybe isn't ready or can't do it. Or maybe sometimes you just have to avoid taking the call and take a hit to your reputation. Fantastic. I love that. I actually played a similar game like 112 Operator, or was it 912? Either way, there's a couple of games where you basically play a police EMS dispatcher, and it's good. It's good, though. The problem with that one was it is just a dispatch game, and you're it just becomes a juggling simulator. You send your people down there, you equip them individually. It's fun for a bit. I want to play the Last Duty version where it's police versus the zombie apocalypse, which to me sounds fucking amazing. Here's where it absolutely misses a ledge and plummets. The game has, in my opinion, a fairly detailed side mechanic of like a side plot / B game where you, amongst other things, take decisions that will decide the loyalty of certain officers. Like one guy who is really useless at the beginning, he had to keep taking days off so he could go on tour with his band. You could tell him to fuck off, and he would be on duty, and he would be resentful. He would basically not do what you wanted to. But you give him enough opportunities to do so, you eventually earn his loyalty, and he functions normally. If you think of the gameplay mechanic as like, they're either loyal and they do as you tell them, or they're disloyal and every so often they'll just refuse to do what you want them to do. So yeah, you had the opportunity. It felt like a piss take, but you had the option. And alongside this, you also have incidents where you have to get confessions out of people, usually by effectively just torturing the ever-living shit out of them. And this is where things go a bit sideways for me. Now, I explained in the beginning that your character is basically begging the lady on the front cover, I don't even remember names, to give him a job, keep him away. He also, sorry, I forgot to mention, he has to pay somebody who's blackmailing him, I think it's like $10,000 every so often to keep his secret, otherwise he'll tip off and, it's game over. And that's a mechanic in the game. You have like a cash flow type system. You can buy things with it, like equipment, which is useful. Again, sometimes it's the difference between life and death. Some items you can use during the planning phase of a raid to buy items to get information from members of the public. So again, maybe a bit of false complexity there, but it works, it's good. Now, your character more or less immediately just straight up 360 no-scopes that lady on the front and just absolutely dominates her. Somebody who's literally like, please, oh god, don't do anything, I will do whatever you want. He immediately just starts taking a massive shit on her, completely takes her job out from underneath her, starts, again, torturing people in a mortician's office to get confessions for the most part, fairly petty crime. And you have no say in the matter. Now, you'd kind of want for a game that kind of emphasizes some level of choice. You'd want to have that choice between the low and easy road or the high and the hard road. You don't need to make it as disgustingly binary as sort of Paragon Renegade, but that's the whole point, in my opinion, of an engaging Law and Order type game, is that you decide the kind of cop that protects that town. And in this, you very much don't. You just kind of stuck playing this absolute jerk. And I didn't finish the game, because at one point, there's a scenario where your catering company leaves, or the caterer leaves, and you need to pay the bill for lunch at a diner. Now, just prior to this, I had paid that, I think it was $10,000 bribe to the person I owed. And as a result, the entire police force of Pineywood, Ranchville, Alabama, they're stuck because you can't progress the game. You are soft locked. And it's not the case of you can... If it were a game mechanic where it could be like, oh, well, okay, now everyone you have is disloyal or takes a penalty and get pissed off because you can do that, fair enough. Or it didn't even give me the option to sell things or a warning saying, hey, tomorrow there's going to be an event, you need to have some money in the bank. That would have been fine. But no. I paid my dues and then I got stuck on the game. And I couldn't be bothered. It was too much for me. I was enjoying everything up until there. I was enjoying having officers who had skills, who I had my favorites. Some were really good. I could send, I think it was flower pots. I could literally send that woman to any call and she would come out on top. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, you put them two together, it's a little Easter egg. Their skill rating goes up massively when they're on patrol together. It's fantastic. I love shit like that. And again, I was really enjoying it up until this point. And all I can think is what could have been. Maybe there is... No, not even maybe. There is a route for the game where you can play a complete arsehole who has taken this woman's job out from underneath her, but you need something more. In my ideal world, that would have been following a long point in the game storyline where you can get something on her that puts her under your thumb, and you can basically just repeat the sins of the previous game, be a complete jerk, make the police force of the town effectively a gang of their own. Why the fuck not? But it didn't. There is an expansion / sidequel to this called This is the Police 2 Rebel Cops, which had a fairly interesting kind of side view that the town had been taken over by like a criminal gang, and you were effectively almost like XCOM 2, where as opposed to XCOM 1 where you're playing the Soldiers of Earth, XCOM 2 you're playing basically guerrilla rebels on a flying mother base that's on the run. I believe it was the same kind of deal. I never got around to it. I think I was just too burnt out from the shenanigans of the previous game. I would almost say go and play it, but for me, it's the most painful kind of whiff that a game can be, because I loved it so much. I wanted it to be better, and it wasn't. And yep, close to the ledge. Today's call for action is to read The Night Watch by, I think it's Sergei Lukyanenko. I originally saw it after the film adaptation of it, which in my opinion wasn't particularly very good. It's an amazing book. It's effectively three stories. I wouldn't say short stories. I think they're like 150 pages each. Go read it. It's a fantastic series. I'm actually about to crack open the other two books at some point because I just recently reread it. Peace.